Hi, my name is Scott Campbell, and today I'll be giving you a quick demo of our GSN Cloud Manager. The Cloud Manager is a little web app, so you can run it in your favorite browser. When you first log in, you'll see the dashboard. This is what you're looking at now. What you see here is a Google map that has spots on it for all the VMs that are running on the GSN. Right now there are 5 different nodes around the world, and we're running VMs on all of them. The root facility is in Montreal. There's another one facility in Ottawa. There's one in Calgary. There's one in San Diego, and one in Dublin. So all of these facilities are running on green power, but it's important to note that we do differentiate between the types of green power that we like. We're trying to implement the use case of follow the wind, follow the sun. So when there's not enough power at one site because it's a solar powered site and it's nighttime, the virtual machines are automatically going to be moved to another one that has more power. So within the context of GSN, the 2 solar powered sites that are strictly solar power are the site in Ottawa and the site in Calgary. In Montreal, it's a hydro-powered site, so it's a green power source. It's always available, just like plugging into your outlet. So that site's never going to go down. So we treat that as a hub. If there's not enough power anywhere else on the green sites, the solar-powered sites, it'll go there. In San Diego, it's a green-powered site, and in Ireland, it's a solar-powered site, and in Ireland they've got solar and wind. However, with those 2 nodes, we don't have them fully instrumented yet, so we don't know when the power is available or not through their green power sources, so we're treating them as green sources, but in the same way as the hub node at ETS, and that the power is always available. So the key word here is that we're trying to optimize the power based on intermittently available power. And you'll also see that reflected in the chart down here. So the more green the power source is, the more green you'll see here. Sometimes the solar-powered nodes, when they don't have solar power, they'll flip over to the grid, and the grid is 0% green. So we want to show that here. So it's the same with the other sites, that if there's no green power, it's going to show it as grid, which is bad. So right now I've manually moved VMs around, so it's not optimized for green power, so that once I actually run the controller, it's going to do its analysis, see where things go, and it will optimize it to be green, and you'll see a lot more green in the chart here. So let's give a quick walkthrough of the user interface, and then we'll run the demo. So if you look at the virtual machines page, this lists all the virtual machines. It tells us where they are and gives some information about each one. You also have manual control over your virtual machine, so you can start them, stop them, and as well you can manually migrate them wherever you want to. I do some manual control over things. On the host page, we list the hosts. Some of the sites have multiple hosts on them. Some of the sites only have one. The solar powered systems only have one each. As well, you've got some more information here when you select on each one. On the facilities page, this lists the facilities that are GSN nodes on the network. As we saw in the dashboard, there are 5 nodes, and each one you show certain information about them. So the one showing here is the one in Calgary, and we can see that it's a solar-powered node, and that it's actually running on solar power, and that there's about 22 hours of operating hours available on it under the current load, but if you load it to the max, you only have 12 hours because it's going to be drawing more power. As well, because these solar-powered systems are actually in enclosures outside, they're heated, but they're still outside, so things can happen. So we want to keep an eye on things, so we monitor the temperature. So it looks earlier today that something happened, I'm not sure what, but the temperature dropped down pretty low, and that's not good. Same here, we can see information with the power being generated, and we can chart the history. So we can see that it's very low here overnight. It wasn't on the actual solar power, but now we can see it's starting to climb. So there's more power being generated by the sun. You can also see the power being pulled from the center. So there's more power, more VMs at the site here, and as VMs get moved away or get moved back, different power loads are affected. finally you get to see some alarms. So we can see that there is an alarm at the Calgary system because the temperature was below its threshold. Obviously there's something wrong. We need to know about it. So there's similar charts for the CRC facility because it's also a solar-powered node being charged by the sun, as well as the other ones that the other facilities. So we can see all the information there. So that's the good stuff that we have in the Cloud Manager. I'll just describe a little more about what the demo we're going to do. So as I said before, the controller is going to try to optimize the virtual machines based on the availability of intermittent green power source. So essentially the solar and the wind nodes. And as well to prove that these virtual machines are moving around live, I'm going to run a video so that you can see that the video in the virtual machine that's in Dublin is going to run all the way through the migration and the video won't stop. So that's the first thing I'll do is start the video. So you can see a little video running in the background. The next thing I'm going to do, because we're running a demo, the point of everything is that when one of the facilities loses power, it'll send a notification to the controller and it will actually run. But our facilities are running great right now. We've got lots of solar power. So behind the scenes, I'm going to trick it. I'm going to tell the facility in Ottawa that it has not enough available operating hours left. So I'm just going to manually override that, and then I'm going to force the controller to run. So now the controller is going to query everything, and it's going to see that there's not enough power at the site in Ottawa, and it's going to then collect the information and make the appropriate migrations. And we can see from the migration plan here that things are working. So each line represents a virtual machine that's going to be moved. So it'll tell us what the virtual machine is, where it's moving from, and where it's moving to. So the virtual machine might take anywhere between, we'll say 30 seconds to maybe 3 minutes to move. The more memory you have in your virtual machine, the longer it'll take to move. So the virtual machine that's moving now is the one that's running in Ireland. It's going to take a little longer because we're running a video, and so there's more memory to actually move it. Another thing to mention about the controller while it's running is that because it's optimizing things for the green power. So even though there's plenty of power at the other sites in Montreal, Ireland, and San Diego, it's still going to try to move them to a facility that has the intermittently available green power. So that's why we see more VMs being pulled. Not only is it pulling the VMs from the CRC site, which had no power left, it's going to pull the other ones in as well. So now we see the second one done. That's the one from Ireland is now moved, and they were all moved over to Calgary because that's the only other one that has the actual solar power. We didn't see the video drop. The other one should be done fairly soon. There's the next one is done. Fourth one is done, and the final one is just about to finish up. Okay, it's done. Now if we go back to the dashboard, I need to refresh it. So we'll see everything's been refreshed. Now there's one blob in Calgary. That's because that's the greenest site right now for everything, and we can see our green chart is actually green. So in the future, when we actually have the other green sites instrumented properly, so they are intermittently available sites, they'll be considered too. So it's not always going to be throwing all the virtual machines onto one, as well as if there wasn't enough computing power on this site, it won't try to put them there, it'll distribute them accordingly. And that's it for the demo. There you have it, and thank you very much.